My little birds told me there was a podcast rising within the realm. As Master of Whispers, I pride myself on having ears throughout the kingdoms. I listen to the Clock Dodgers podcast as any wise man should. Subscribe, podcasts are coming.
The Lord of Light doesn't have many followers in Westeros, does he?
Not yet. But even those who don't worship the Lord can serve his cause.
What does your Lord expect from me?
Bosses bantis amazis, merikivio dolalaris, os machagon contas.
The prince who was promised will bring the dawn. I'm afraid I'm not a prince.
Your Grace, forgive me, but your translation is not quite accurate. That noun has no gender in High Valyrian, so the proper translation for that prophecy would be the prince or princess who was promised will bring the dawn.
Doesn't really roll off the tongue, does it?
No, but I like it better.
Daenerys likes it better. Hey, I am not one to argue with her, so I will agree. I like it as well. It leaves open a lot of possibilities. Hey guys, I appreciate you for tuning in. This is the Clock Dodgers podcast. You have found yourself on a Game of Thrones recap episode. As always, if you have not watched episode 2 of the Game of Thrones season 7, I highly recommend you do not listen to this episode as there are spoilers. If you don't watch Game of Thrones at all, hey, if you're just here to listen and enjoy the episode, I really appreciate you. If you are a Game of Thrones enthusiast and you have found this episode just because of that fact, I really appreciate you joining us as well. What I do ask is that anyone listening, if you can please share this episode and this podcast in other Game of Thrones places that you know people will consume and enjoy it. So if you're on a Game of Thrones message boards, if you're on Reddit Game of Thrones categories, if you're on Twitter and you have a lot of Game of Thrones fans that are there, if you're on some kind of app or social media place, please share this episode. It helps more people join us in enjoying this great show. And the more people who interact with the show and the more people who enjoy it and consume it, the better it is, of course. So again, shout out from Clock Dodgers to all the Game of Thrones watchers out there. If you're fans of another show besides Game of Thrones, I understand. I like a lot of other shows too. It's just Game of Thrones requires recap podcast all to its own. I gotta be honest, it just does. So a big shout out to James, aka the Omega Ginger. He joins me on this episode that we will start here in a second. I just wanted to give you guys a quick shout out. That's all. I just wanted to say what's up before we start into this. I really appreciate you guys for riding with me and riding with us on these Game of Thrones episodes. They're really fun. So shout out to everybody who's involved. If you're interested in being a guest on one of the Game of Thrones recap episodes, please hit me up. Either DM me on Twitter at Clock Dodgers, on Instagram, same thing. You can email me, clockdodgers@gmail.com. We usually wrap these up in like 30 to 45 minutes. We try to knock them out on Sunday after the show or like Monday, Tuesday, somewhere around there. So if you can do that and you want to come on the show, you're more than welcomed. Just hit me up and we'll try to discuss it and see how we can line up. I kind of have it set up already, but we'll see. James is going to return on future episodes too. So just hit me up. We'll talk about it. We'll discuss it. And if I think it works, it works. We'll talk about it. You know what I mean? Other than that, you guys enjoy the episode. I love Game of Thrones. You love Game of Thrones. Let's share this moment together. Welcome back to the Clock Dodgers podcast. This is our Game of Thrones recap edition episode. I do have a guest with me this week. It's actually James, aka the Omega Ginger. Last season, James was actually on the show with me, and you guys were expecting a baby then, right?
Yes, we were.
And so since then, you've added someone to House Omega Ginger, am I right?
Yes, we have.
What's his name?
His name is Anakin Alexander Caldwell.
Nice.
He's freaking awesome, bundle of joy. He's actually just turned 6 months. Yeah, he's amazing.
So how's daddy life going? It sounds like it's been good.
It's been great, actually. Once he hit about 2 months, he was sleeping through the night. Doesn't really fuss. He's been a perfect baby.
Wow, lucky man. Not everyone's as lucky as you are with that. So we'll see how this goes. And hopefully the baby doesn't wake up while we're recording or nothing.
Yeah, no, he should be good. He should be out.
All right, perfect. Well, congrats on that, man. I'm happy that's finally happened, and now I'm sure that gives you you kind of got all the things now to look forward to, right? Like all the things you want to introduce him to and show him and everything.
Oh yeah. Actually, he's been watching some TV shows with me, and he's starting to recognize stuff like that on TV and what's going on. So
How
we'll
long?
have to be careful.
How long before we show him Game of Thrones, man?
That will probably be quite a while.
That's hilarious. All right, so let's talk about this episode a little bit. Obviously last week was episode, or no, however you want to look at it. The first episode happened. This is the second episode of the season. A lot happened this episode in a way. So let's kind of start off. I really want to start off with Theon, man. Theon Greyjoy, because this dude, it's time to judge this guy, man. He's up for judgment right now. What is your call on Theon right now, man? Are you on the side of the camp where he should have fought to the death? He should have protected his sister and his honor, and if he died, oh well. Or are you on, listen, this guy's dealing with PTSD, that shit is real, and he's gonna live to see another day now?
I was straight gonna say some PTSD. Let's face it. Theon has not been Theon since he lost his little member. He's not right in the head anymore, and that proved it. He was fine. I mean, he was battling. He showed him like he was wrecking Euron's soldiers, all the Ironborn he was coming across, until like he actually realized what was going on around him, and then it just he fell apart. He broke down, and Reek showed back up.
Right. So I mean, are you gonna give this guy another chance, man? Like another chance, or are you like, this guy's broken? It's just kind of is what it is at this point.
Yeah, I wouldn't really necessarily say like you need to give him another chance. It's just he is what he is. He might be able to help you, but you don't want to rely on him at all. He's broken.
Yeah. And this scene had a lot going on, right? So, I mean, there's been a lot of talk about Euron, right? I mean, since he started this season, just because I guess, he's looked different, he's acting different. And so, some people are fans of it. They find it funny. They're enjoying the character, but then it seems like there's a lot of people who are kind of complaining about him, sort of, you know what I mean? Like the way he looks. And I mean, in this scene, he was like totally badass, right? I mean, he took all the Sand Snake girls out who I thought were supposed to be like these legit fighters. He just wiped them out. And so like this dude was looking badass out there. So how are you feeling about, the new fresh dressed haircut Euron that's just, wiping fools out?
Well, we all know that I kind of have a soft spot for villains.
Yes, this is true.
And to be honest, last season I did not like Euron at all. But I don't know. He's really growing on me now. The first episode was fun with him, bantering back with Jaime. That was really fun. But then like him just showing up and just straight wrecking everything, in which apparently sand snakes can't swim. But but he took two of the sand snakes on by himself, wrecked both of them. And you're talking about the group that captured Jaime and Bronn.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're. I mean, Jaime's kind of not as good of a fighter as he once was, but Bronn was a badass, and I mean, this dude just dropped 2 out of the 3 on his own.
Yep.
And then also defeated Yara. I mean, like if his battle prowess is any indication to the size of his member, like he seems to like talk about, like dude's got to be hung like a freaking giant.
And I mean, are you getting the vibe that I'm getting, where they're kind of building this guy up right now? Because obviously, the first episode he made this big promise, he was hilarious, he was funny. And this episode he comes down like straight terror, like the way they dropped him down onto the ship, and then he's, like you said, he's wrecking shop on there. I mean, are they building this guy up for us right now, you think?
I think they are, and that him coming down the way he did was probably
crazy.
One of the coolest scenes I've ever seen in Game of Thrones. I think they're building him up, and I think he is a potential suitor for Cersei. I mean, you might be seeing the future king of Westeros. I mean, he did just wipe out pretty much half of Daenerys' army right there.
Yep. And with the Sand Snake girls just getting wiped out so quick, do you feel like this was a way to build him up, or do you feel like it was, we got to get rid of these girls? Like, I don't know if they weren't fans of the other characters, or they just needed to knock some people off and they were the easiest choice. Do you feel like this was a quick swipe, to get rid of them?
I mean, they do need to get rid of characters, non-important characters, but they also had, in their own way, they showed that they were badasses.
Yeah.
And by him just wrecking 2 of them on his own, it just shows how strong of a character he actually is and strong of a fighter. So I think it was a little bit of both.
I'm worried what he's gonna do, what Cersei's gonna do to these girls that he's bringing back, man. I'm worried.
I think the Mountain might be involved in that one.
Oh gosh. Oh no. That won't be good. But hey, we did get a public service announcement on that scene where lesbian sex on a boat, man, when you're just, trying to handle some business is probably just not a good idea. It's not a good idea at all because they didn't even see this guy coming, and you got to kind of, put some blame on the, the lesbian.
Yeah. Where was there like scouts? Don't you have like the scouts up and?
That's what I mean.
Was that the eagle's nest? Like,
yeah.
Anybody watching anything?
It was weird, man. He just banged. It was there, like
that ship is like twice the size of their biggest ship, and it just came right up and slammed right into him.
Yeah, and that's kind of part of the complaint, right, for this episode. I mean, there was some people that complained about that, like, these people are supposed to be so good on the sea. How did they not even like know this was happening? And then also, how did he find them? And then of course there were people also complaining about the quality of the scene, like it was so dark and hard to see things. Did you have any of those issues with it, man? Or are you cool with it?
No, there's a couple things. Like, I mean, they knew they were in Dragonstone.
Right.
It's south of King's Landing. He was going to try to. I mean, he probably had an idea of who he was going to try to capture.
Right.
And they were sailing north to attack King's Landing anyways. So I think it was just bound they were going to slam into each other.
Yeah.
But I don't think they were expecting him to have his fleet up and going as fast as he did.
Yeah, they were just chilling out, cool thing. Nothing was about to happen, and he was looking for him. So, so he got the upper hand. But I mean, it was a fun scene. I enjoyed it. Like you said, Euron definitely shined. Theon, I don't know, who knows what's gonna happen to him now? He's out there.
Yeah, we might have found my new favorite character in the show.
I think so. So you were all about.
I love Tyrion.
You were all about
yeah,
Ramsay.
bad guy.
Last season, you were all about Ramsay. Now, He went out pretty rough, man. By the end of that season, were you still a fan of him, or was that just that love?
No, I was still a fan of it. I loved when he sent the oh my gosh, why am I blanking on his name? The little Stark, Rickon.
Oh yeah.
When he sent Rickon running, that boy needs to learn to serpentine. But no, I love that. I taunted a lot of people about one dying, but I mean, the only problem I had I knew he was going to die. The only problem I had with him, was the way he died. He's Ramsay is one of the smartest villains that we've ever seen in Game of Thrones. I mean, if you go back to the seasons the season where the Ironborn show up to try to rescue Theon, he just wrecked a ton of them on his own.
Yeah.
And he is an extremely skilled fighter. You telling me he's just going to keep shooting arrows at freaking Jon as Jon's charging him with a shield? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, we had those kind of scenes on here, man, where people, they flash their skills in one fight, and then the next fight it's like, what the hell happened to all of them skills,
Yeah.
It has those moments.
I think they robbed us of a awesome fight. I mean, yeah, let Jon kill him, let Jon beat him damn near to death like he did, but just... at least let the man show that he actually was a skilled fighter. Yeah.
I guess I had to do something, man. We can always look at it, hindsight's 2020, man. But
pretty much.
So with Theon and everything happening there, and them basically losing all their ships. I'm assuming everything is gone. Obviously, this really wrecks Daenerys' plan, right? Her, Tyrion, they're all making this plan. Now, this kind of changes the whole thing for them, and I'm assuming next episode, we'll see where they move from here. But that kind of puts a hamper on things, right? A big damper on things.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have to reevaluate because obviously they just lost their forces that were going to attack King's Landing, and once again, their whole thing with sending them was having people of Westeros attack King's Landing because they didn't want it to seem like a foreign invasion.
Right.
They wanted it to seem like, hey, they've had enough. They need to replace this evil queen, pretty much. Yeah. The problem is that they don't have that. well, luckily, Jon's coming south, it looks like, to meet with Daenerys. So what they could potentially do is have the North go south and potentially take out King's Landing instead. But we're not there yet. But that's a potential thing that could happen to kind of remedy the whole losing the Ironborn and the Dornish.
That would be
army.
tough, though, right? I mean, with the walkers coming in and him so concerned with that.
Yes, that you would have to be very convincing to get Jon to have anybody go south.
Yeah,
at this point.
So we'll see what else happens. How they, reroute this whole attack thing. That's going to be probably. I'm assuming next episode will probably cover most of that, but it's going to be interesting. Daenerys, did her thing on that opening scene with Varys and kind of, making sure that he was loyal because he has done a lot of scumbag things, man. Let's just be honest here. He's one of my favorite characters, but let's be honest, the guy's been shady at best. So I mean that was fair, right? And
he's done everything for the best of the people, though.
That's true. That's true, is what he says. So we had to believe him. I believe him, man. I'm a Varys fan, so I believe him. Did you take anything, kind of not as obvious from this scene or anything? Any of the conversation or anything that you felt was, really worth speaking about? Or do you feel like it was pretty cut and dry? Obviously, they talk about Jon coming and, that seems like that's obviously going to happen. That's kind of being pushed on us here. Obviously, we all want to see that. But was there anything else here that you felt like was important to note?
I mean, they do talk to Melisandre.
Right.
So, I mean, that actually drops a huge bombshell on the whole thing. Forever, the entire series, there's been this prophecy of the prince that is promised. And now we find out that, okay, it doesn't necessarily per se need to be a prince. It could be a prince or princess.
Right.
So, I mean, it could be Daenerys is the princess that was promised.
I felt like they were talking to the fans when they did that. When they were like,
yeah.
you're misunderstanding the language or whatever it was. How you're misinterpreting it. How she was like, It could be a woman or a female. And I feel like that, a man or a female. And I kind of feel like I was talking to the fans because a lot of the theories that go around are like, well, it can't be her because it says prince, So I feel like that was kind of a direct message to us. Are you still in belief that it could be both of them?
It could be both of them. It might not be either of them. We just don't know who it could be. I mean, it could end up being like I remember watching an interview and they were saying who's going to be. It had the entire cast on there and they were talking about who's going to be on the throne. And there's so many theories out there, but like the cast members themselves and I believe it was Jon, the actor that plays Jon, that said that Tyrion would be on the throne.
Interesting.
And then and Jamie said the throne would be destroyed in general.
That's not crazy to think. That's something Daenerys would do.
Well, and there's a lot of people that believe with that there is actually that the throne is made out of Valyrian steel. Well, that if you were able to melt it down, you could create a ton of Valyrian steel swords out of it.
Right.
So I mean that's where that could come of use, and if it were to be destroyed, but I don't know if it's actually made out of Valyrian steel, so we'd have to wait to find that out as well.
Yeah, there's so many things that predictions and stuff out there, so we'll see how it unfolds with all that. One of the other scenes that I really liked was the Arya scene with the pie. She finds out that Jon is alive, and that he's holding it down in Winterfell. So, when she finds this out, she decides that she's going to go back to Winterfell instead of going to King's Landing. Do you think this is a bad decision, man?
No. I think it's good for her to actually go back to meet with her family. I know she's got her own agenda on, but maybe her agenda can meet with her brother's agenda and her sister's agenda. Maybe she can kind of be like an assassin for them. Either way, it'll be good to see Arya go home, and I don't think it will hurt anything. I do think Hot Pie committed suicide by a quote he stated where he compared himself to Arya and
a survivor.
And said that we're both survivors. I'm pretty sure we'll probably see Hot Pie die this season.
We'll see him. She'll come back across and he'll be dead. And of course they had the scene with the dire wolf. What did you make of that, man? Like, is the dire wolf gonna be with her? Because like it had no, like he didn't acknowledge her, sort of, right? I mean,
I think that's a way for them just to tie Nymeria back into everything.
Okay.
Because in the books they talk about Nymeria a lot. Not necessarily a name, but they talk about a dire wolf. And this season they've been talking about like a dire wolf leading a pack of wolves. Well, not this season, but in the show.
Right. She whispered though, like she whispered like it's not you or something, right?
Yes, but they did talk about that, and that's actually a shout out to season 1 and a scene between Arya and Ned Stark, where Ned was showing her a picture of a girl in a dress. And she said, "That's not me."
Oh, okay. So
she was kind of relating that when she was talking to, or when she was talking to Nymeria, when she was saying, "Come home with me," and Nymeria kind of just walked off. She was like, "That's not you. You're not meant to be tamed. You're meant to be free and roam free."
Gotcha.
Just like Arya is a free spirit and can't be tamed as well.
Do you think we'll continue to see Nymeria though, and like protecting her?
I don't. Unless there's a big battle in that area, I think that's the last we'll see of her. I think that was just kind of a shout out of, "Hey, we're going to show you direwolf," which Nymeria is huge, by the way.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Holy shit! That was a big wolf.
It's funny when you say when you say they showed her, maybe to close that part out. How many things do you think they do because of what the fans keep bringing up?
I think there's going to be a lot of nods and stuff. Like, I bet we see Gendry pop back up randomly, like him rowing his boat to like some port or some shit. That dude's probably still out in the middle of the damn ocean floating around.
But you think we'll get a bunch of shout outs and
I think we'll get at least a few nods to pretty much the fans of like, oh, okay, this situation's taken care of now.
Right. Yeah, I think so too. Because sometimes it just seems like, okay, they're talking directly to us here. This is like for us. They wrote this in for us. You know what I mean? So I mean, we did have a sex scene on this episode, even though the lesbian sex scene got shut down. Grey Worm, man, my boy Grey Worm got in some action. I don't know if you call it a sex scene though, man. I don't know exactly, what he's doing over there.
That brings a whole new term to bumping uglies.
Yeah, I mean, he got, Miss Sandy. I think she's beautiful. He couldn't resist. I like that the little interaction between them both. What he was saying about fear and all that kind of stuff. I thought that was pretty cool.
He did not consent. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah, because he was like, no.
She pulled his pants off.
Yeah, that was kind of a non-consentive.
No, but like he definitely cares for her. He obviously, and that where he did say no, he feels embarrassed by his whole situation of not having his manhood.
Yeah, a little insecure.
Yes. Which, I mean, it's hard to blame the guy because, I mean, obviously we see what that does to people. Look at Theon.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he cares for her in more than a way of a friend or a sister by any means. And she really cares for him. And I think it was more of it was good to see, like, them have, like, an actual, like, be able to express their love for each other.
Yeah, they had a moment.
Yes, and like there's not many ways he can please her, so he did what he could. But.
I'm interested to see now, will this fear that he says he has because of her, will it be a detriment to him or, a positive? Will it be something that, he fights harder because of that fear that he has of losing her, or if it ends up being his downfall somewhere, man, we'll see.
I'm leaning more towards it will be it for the positive. It'll make him want to fight harder. He actually has something to fight for now.
Yeah, for sure. There wasn't much else there. I think that's what I wanted to hit on mostly. And then, of course, there was the Sam, man. Sam is going all... Sam's Harley getting gnarly over there, man. Just doing his own thing. He don't care what anybody says, man. He's just just breaking into rooms, getting books, doing this and that. Now he's cutting freaking grayscale off of Jorah, man, which was disgusting.
Bro, he's been in two of the nastiest scenes I've ever seen in Game of Thrones in back-to-back episodes. Like the whole like freaking bedpan freaking back and like
Oh yeah.
like oh that was rough to get through. I was eating when I was watching that too, and
yeah, they're doing a really good job of painting that picture of what he's going through, where he's at, like the mentality of the place that he's in, and that, his is different.
And their transitions have been so rough with that too. Like they did the bedpan, and then they transitioned into like beef stew.
Yep.
And then
this one was worse though. This one was worse.
Oh man, I think my wife almost got sick watching it. We were just watching them hawk that off, and all of a sudden, like they're going into the pot pie, and it's like, oh. But yeah, no, it's nice to see Sam taking like initiative. When we first met Sam, he was such an insecure, like just very indecisive character. I mean, how many times did you think he was just gonna die up in the north, like beyond the wall, because he just like dropped to his knees and just wouldn't move?
Right. He's slowly been building himself up.
Yeah, now he stole his father's Valerian steel sword. He's here now. Now he's actually just going behind the back of the Grand Maester and trying to cure the Grey Worm.
Yeah,
or not Grey Worm, Grayscale. Yeah.
Cure the Grey Worm. That'd be interesting. I'm sure Grey Worm will be happy about that.
There you go.
There's a way to cure him for sure.
Some miracle grow.
Yeah. But yeah, man, he was cutting the grayscale off. Definitely one of the most wicked, things I ever seen on the show. It was disgusting.
He's got to cut every inch of that grayscale off of his body.
Yeah, and the pus was oozing out, and I'm like,
listen, oh my god,
Sam is a better man than me. He's a better man than me because I would not be touching that dude. I'm like,
no, well, and to say Jorah's a man.
Yeah,
he can't freaking even like yell out in pain. He's got to stay quiet while he's doing this.
Yeah. I mean, I guess obviously I feel that at the end of the day he's gonna get him cured. You know what I mean? That's obviously what's gonna happen here, I think, and Jorah will go back to helping Daenerys somehow in some big way. To get her ultimate goal, right? I mean, that's what do you assume?
I hope so, because I hope so. I mean, the guy's gonna go through all this just to die. Like, come on. Like,
yeah. And they left his sword there so he can kill himself, right? That's what they were, leaning to. Was that what they were saying?
Yeah, they're pretty much giving him a way out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they were gonna ship him.
Yeah.
To Valeria.
So, that was some brutal stuff, man. That was one hell of a scene. One hell of a scene.
Yeah, that looked painful. In more ways. Oh my god, I can't even think about that.
Yeah. I don't even want to think about it. And the way they just cut to that food, I was like, thankfully I'm not eating right now, because this week...
I wonder what they're going to do this week. They've done that 2 episodes in a row now.
You think they can do it the whole way? Run the gamut on us?
Oh, just keep messing with you. Oh. Well, this show does like to mess with you.
Yeah, for sure. What other big things happened in this episode? Anything else that was really of note on this one? I'm trying to think really quick on the top of my head.
Yeah, we Littlefinger getting choked by Jon.
Yes, that was a good that. Now see, now I'm wondering where that goes. Like, obviously the two never really liked each other. We never know what Littlefinger's really up to. Obviously we know who he likes, who he loves, whatever, but we don't know what his ultimate goal is besides her. Do you think this is going to cause more of an issue, or do you think it really doesn't change the dynamic they've already had anyway? I'm worried about him leaving her in charge. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I don't think because she understands what Littlefinger is now, and she has become very highly intelligent. So if anything happens while Jon's gone involving her, she's going to be doing it for herself and not Littlefinger.
I mean, do you think do you think her constantly challenging Jon is a good thing?
It could go either way. I don't think it's going to sway really anybody in the North, because they have done and went and swore their allegiance to Jon.
Yeah. Sometimes I get nervous with it, man.
I could see her trying to perform. I mean, she's the natural born Stark. So, I mean, she does have a claim to the North, even more so than Jon, especially, which nobody knows yet. But since Jon is actually Rhaegar's son.
So we believe.
Yeah,
never
so we
know what they're
believe,
going to do to us here.
That could change like any second.
We never know what
but I mean, it's interesting though that they did 2 shout outs to season 1 and in this episode with Arya and Nymeria, and then you had Jon and Littlefinger, where Jon chokes Littlefinger when he starts talking about his love for Catelyn and Sansa, and then Ned choked out Littlefinger when he was talking about how much he loves Catelyn there. So, yeah. I mean, but I mean, I will say Littlefinger is just one dude you don't cross, though.
Yeah, he's another guy, man. He's kind of like, Varys, when you never know. These guys are so well connected and they're so smart. I think it was episode 1 or what, where he said, like, you fight the battle in your mind. You know what I mean? You don't fight it. It's not a location. It's in your head, like where where you fight it.
Exactly. He's the one that started this whole thing.
Yep.
He's the one that got Catelyn's sister. I can't remember her name right offhand, but Catelyn's sister to kill off her husband, Jon Arryn.
Yep.
And the whole thing started from there. So I mean, he's been the one maneuver. He's the one that set up the assassination of Joffrey. He's definitely been a huge player since the beginning. And I mean, he gave Sansa to Ramsay.
Yep.
Him to say, "Oh, I have no idea Ramsay was like that," that's bullshit. He's as well informed as Varys on everything, so you knew he was a psychopath.
And like he said to Jon, technically he saved his life. Jon won't even say thank you, and it's like, man, he's being stubborn. He's being stubborn with that.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jon knows what kind of person he is.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's gonna be real interesting to see how this plays out. I'm sure Littlefinger's gonna try to manipulate Sansa in certain ways, and it might work. I mean, she does kind of come quick to her decisions and not really think about them too often.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: by the time this season's over, do you think Littlefinger dies?
No, not this season.
Do you think he'll die in the last season, or do you think he'll survive this whole thing?
He'll die in this next season.
Last season.
Yes, in the final season, but I don't think so, and I think Varys kills him.
Ooh, interesting.
That's my prediction.
Like, is your prediction about when this show is all said and done? Do you think we're gonna have a lot of characters left, or do you think we're gonna have like a couple of the main characters left?
I think we'll have a decent little chunk, but I think we're gonna see a lot of people die off, and I think we might gain a few main characters before it's all said and done. I mean, it's not all done yet. I mean, the main character can pop up at any point. I mean,
at any moment you can get Ed Sheeran.
The Viper was a huge character during his season, and he was only on there for like 6 episodes or 7 episodes.
Exactly. At any moment you can get yourself an Ed Sheeran, man.
Yeah, that was fun. He got a bunch of flack for that on
did it
Twitter,
bother
apparently.
you?
It didn't bother. No, there's so many big time actors and stuff that's popped in and out on this show. Can't remember the actor's name, but the one that played the priest.
Oh yeah, with the Hound.
Yeah, with the Hound. Like he just popped in out of nowhere. So I mean, it's a big global show. I mean, it happens on all sorts of different shows. I mean, how many famous people have been on The Simpsons?
Yep. I remember, I don't know if it was Connor joking about it or what, but someone said Conor McGregor was going to be in it, or they wanted him in it or something like that. I'm like, yo, if they put Conor McGregor in it, that's going to be hilarious.
Oh my God, I would die.
That would be hilarious. I don't know, man. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what happens. Do you have any, before we wrap this thing up, do you have any predictions or anything for next week, or anything like that you're looking forward to that you think will be on next week's episode, or anything like that?
My prediction for next week, this Sunday, I guess, will be Jon turns down Daenerys' proposal.
Which, and what do you think that proposal is?
To bend the knee and fight for him to take on King's Landing.
Yeah, I think if that's what it is, I think he'll definitely refuse.
Yeah, I think I don't think they'll walk away from their first meeting as partners.
I don't even see him bending the knee to her, to be honest with you.
That's another thing either. Yeah,
Like,
I don't see Jon Snow being the type to go and just be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna bend the knee to you."
Yeah, I just don't see it, man.
He's the type that is like, "You're gonna have to earn my trust." He's almost just he's a young Ned.
Yep, pretty much. I do hope that we see them this next episode. I hope they don't drag that shit out.
Yeah, like that's the whole episode.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna get too many episodes where it's just like dragged out. I don't think they can do too many dragged out episodes.
That's true. We're past that point.
Yeah, I think it's gung ho almost from here on out. But yeah, it would be painful if this one gets dragged out.
I hope not, especially them meeting. I'm excited to see that. So it's gonna be fun, man. I'm you know me, man. The group that I'm really excited about, and then I'm excited to see what happens to them is the Brotherhood without banners, man. I'm so anxious to see what's gonna happen with these guys, man. Like, are they really that important? And if they are, why? What are they gonna do? It's like that whole thing is up in the air for me. They're like my favorite group on the show. Like those guys, I just like that bunch together for some reason. And I'm just so they're so mysterious to me. So
yeah, I mean, I did see a theory out there where potentially like the Hound becomes the chosen one for the Lord of Light and like kind of replacing what's dude's name that's in charge of the Brotherhood without banners right now? Dondarrion or no, what's his name?
Joran? No. I always fuck this dude's name up.
Is it Dondarrion or
he's got a weird name. All these names, man.
Yeah, I know, it's so hard to remember all of them. But anyways, he takes over for him and like kind of gets the blessing of almost immortality, and that's how he's going to be able to take down like the Mountain. Since the Mountain's like turbo zombie right now.
It's Beric, isn't it, Beric?
Beric.
Yeah,
Beric Dondarrius.
I knew what kind of me is eventually. Beric Dondarrion or something. Yeah, it is something like that. But I know it's Beric for sure. Yeah, man, it's gonna especially when he was like, why are you the chosen one? What's the special about you? She's like, I'm still trying to figure it out. Like, I don't know what it is. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
You gotta figure that shit out quicker.
I died at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my little group that I'm always looking forward to see, what they have in store for them. And of course, man, like the walkers, man, we don't know what's going to happen. How close they are, who's going to stop them. It sounds like the, what you call it? The, who's going to run into them first? The, who's going to run into the walkers first?
I mean, they're all going north. I think right now I think you're gonna see the
Wildlings.
I think you're gonna see the Night's Watch.
Yeah.
Get wrecked.
Oh, that sucks.
I think that's what you're gonna see is just the Night's Watch get wrecked.
We didn't see Bran at all last episode. Do you think we'll see him this week?
I mean, there's a good chance. We'll probably get like a 15-minute clip of him.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, something. I'm worried that because he's been touched by the Night's King, him going through the wall, hopefully it didn't bring down the magic.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. There's supposed to be magic on the wall that stops them from coming through.
Yeah, like the same magic that was supposed to stop him coming through the tree.
Right.
And hopefully he didn't just disenchant the entire wall.
That would suck.
Yeah, but I think the Night's Watch is going to be the first ones that engage with the White Walkers, and I don't think it's going to go well.
I don't think it's going to go well. Probably not.
I think you're going to see him, especially. Oh my gosh, and this is killing me. I've rewatched. What was it? Was it episode 1? I believe with they showed the White Walkers coming.
Right. Yeah.
Like the one giant. Like I seen like a still shot of 1-1, which I don't think this is possible, but like I seen a still shot of 1-1, and then I seen a still shot of the giant that showed up close.
Uh huh.
Same eye, the one that got shot with the arrow, is missing in that giant.
Oh, how can he be down there though?
That's what I'm wondering. Like, I don't think it's him, but like they showed a still shot, and like same wounds it's almost exact.
Oh man.
But like they got White Walker giants, man. Like that's this is bad.
Yeah, that's why I say they need Daenerys more than anything. You know what I mean? Like, forget Cersei, man. Don't even worry about her. This is a bigger issue right now, right here. You know what I mean?
We did miss a big subject. We missed the whole crossbow for the dragons.
Oh yeah. I was gonna talk about that. I forgot. You're right, man. Good thing you caught that. How concerned are you with that, man? Do you really think we're gonna lose a dragon?
I'm absolutely not concerned with that freaking shitty ass crossbow. They shot like a 300-year-old freaking dragon head.
Yeah.
Like at the weakest point of the skull, like right where the nose bridges into the freaking. Like, okay, and like it was an inanimate object. Good luck getting that thing like set to fire and hit a moving flying dragon.
Yeah, I think that was
and not only that, but that dragon, that the skull they shot, didn't have armor on it, which they might have some armor attached to the dragon.
Yep.
The dragons have scales.
Yep.
I mean, you might get a glancing shot on one of the dragons. It might hit a wing or something, but I don't think that damn crossbow's killing any dragons.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, like you said, it might hit a wing and bring one down or something, and then maybe they kill it somehow. But I don't think it's gonna hit it and kill it in one shot.
I think it might hit one of the dragons and hurt it enough to keep it out of the battle. So it kind of makes the battle a little bit easier for Cersei's side. But I don't think it's killing any dragons by any means.
Yeah, we ain't worried about it. That's just a false
Had
sense
to
of
kind of
security.
stop my heart for a second though when I first watched it. I'm like, oh wait, you got a head moving dragon with that thing.
Yeah, not this friggin' old ass skull of a dragon.
Now, what could go bad? And I just thought of this. I could totally see them having that thing hidden, and Daenerys be sitting there with like Drogon, just sitting on top of Drogon, and then they fire that thing out of nowhere, and it hits Drogon like right in the chest.
Oh god, it could get bad.
That's the way this series goes too. I mean, something like that could easily happen.
Yeah, it can get bad. It can get bad quick, but hopefully, I'm rooting against them.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening.
I'm also interested in thinking about how is Jaime gonna handle Euron, man. Like, I don't think even if Cersei wants Euron, like I don't think Jaime's cool with it, man. Like I don't think he'll ever be okay with it.
I honestly think Jaime might just disappear from King's Landing. I think Euron and Cersei are going to start getting close. It's going to piss Jaime off, and he's just going to be like, pretty much fuck this noise and move on.
I wouldn't be mad at that, man.
Maybe go hang out with his brother.
Go fight for the right side, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a Cersei.
Because he's definitely had some conscience changes throughout the show. I mean,
even to start this season, he did. She was like about a dynasty, and he's like, "But dynasty for what? Like all of our family's dead. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are we doing?" And she's like, "Well, for us, you know what I mean?" So
yeah, he could go either way. He could obviously go up to his brother Tyrion, or he could go north and fight with Jon and Brienne. I mean, he's
sick.
Very close friends with Brienne.
Yeah, that would be sick. That'd be awesome. We'll see, man. We'll see. Exciting.
They need to change out that freaking gold hand with like a gold hook or something.
Something a little cooler.
Something that'll be actually like useful in a fight.
How about a sword, man? A sword hand. Oh,
that'd be nuts. That'd be nice. He'd be a badass. That'd
be dope.
Yeah, it would.
Well, man, I think we summed up most of the, the important parts. You got that last one in there that we almost missed, but I think we've hit most of the important stuff from this episode. Would you agree?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we caught it all.
Yeah, I think we did, man. This was a great episode for the show. I think they nailed everything. Everything is kind of coming together, like you said. There is no slow points, we don't think, going forward. So it's gonna kind of be this way the rest of the way, I'm thinking. We'll see how it all unravels, and this episode I'm excited for it, man. So But what episode am I not excited for? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, pretty much. I'm always pumped, ready.
I'm never like, it's not gonna be that great this week.
Yeah.
It's always like fucking balls to the wall every episode for me. So yeah, man, it was a great episode. I'm good with this. Hey, man, I'm down for you to come back again next week or a future week if you're down. So we could definitely make this happen
Always.
again. And we'll definitely get this out earlier next time, man. It was kind of, scheduling was a little messed up, but we'll definitely make that happen. So you guys will be hearing more from James here. I appreciate you coming on, man. Is there anything you want to say before we go?
Nope. Just a shout out to our Game of Thrones chat on the Fantasy Life app. Always a good bunch in there. Always arguing about prophecies and all sorts of stuff, and our fantasy football league that we're getting up and going here soon.
Exactly. Shout out to everybody who's been listening. Shout out to everybody in the Fantasy Life app, like you said in the chat, in the fantasy league, all that good stuff. Shout out to everybody they've been rocking since day one with this. So we appreciate them for sure. And that's it, man. So I will catch you next week, man.
Sounds good.